general terms, collecting glasses, doing fairly menial tasks. I think the only issue really arises if they're involved in the sale of alcohol. There's no problem with that at all. It's only really comes down to a question of whether they're selling alcohol or not. If they are selling alcohol, then they can do so no problem if we're talking about an area of a premises that's set aside for meals, that's effectively a restaurant. But if it's a drink-led environment, then every single sale that they make has to be authorised by a responsible person, which is essentially somebody over the age of 18 who's been properly trained. If we're talking about children being customers of a pub, then that is to a great degree dictated by the conditions on the premises licence. You do often get conditions on licences, particularly in busy high street environments where, I guess for obvious reasons, it's deemed that these would be inappropriate environments for children to be in. So you may get a condition saying no under 18s after 9 o'clock or no under 18s after 7 o'clock, for example. Well, such a condition forms part of the licence, and therefore from the operator's perspective, if you breach that condition, then the consequences are fairly significant in the sense that you can be prosecuted as in any other criminal offence, or the licence itself can be brought back before the licensing committee for review, and with the usual consequences of having your hours curtailed, or in the worst case scenario, the licence removed completely. Licensees should check their licences in general terms to make sure that they are complying with all of the restrictions that appear on it, including all of the conditions. With specific regard to children, the same thing goes. The reality is, if you breach the conditions on your licence, you can have your licence reviewed, you can end up in court, you can end up with a criminal conviction with all of that, with all of those consequences. Law only restricts unaccompanied under 16s, and then it really depends on whether your premises are drink-led or not. So for example, if you are a restaurant, you're okay to have unaccompanied under 16s in your premises up until midnight, whereas if you're more bar-led, you can't do it at all. And if you sell alcohol at all, then you cannot have unaccompanied under 16s after midnight. That's the simple rule of thumb.